Cardano is dead, at least according to some top investors. And recently, Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, came out and addressed all major FUD, news, and developments that people have been saying about Cardano to set the record straight. But first thing I want to go over is going to be what's been going on in the overall crypto market, because there's been a lot of drama. And recently, we've seen that Bitcoin and the overall market has had a lot of volatility. Right now, market's up around 2.08% over the last 24 hours, and Bitcoin's hovering just around that $66,000 per coin range. But the key thing with Bitcoin is that we did see a bit of a correction happen for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and many altcoins. Bitcoin had this pretty big drop on the weekly charts, down around 5%. And it bounced off this key support level of right around 64,500. So right now, the key thing is that there's nothing too concerning in the short term for Bitcoin's price. But if we do see a close below that 64,500 on the weekly charts, I'm very well expecting us to test these lower levels of around $60,000 per coin, really $57,500 to $60,000 per coin. But as long as we hold above 64,500, as long as we hold above that level in the weekly charts, I'm still feeling pretty good about where we're at in terms of the short term, just really seeing more sideways trading until we see some major breakout. But really, we've been in this range for the last couple of months now, and doesn't look like anything in the immediate future is going to change that. But recently, we did see some pretty good news coming out of Australia, and that's that the Australian Securities Exchange approved its very first spot Bitcoin ETF, and that's going to start trading on June 20th. This is Australia's largest stock exchange that have its approved spot Bitcoin ETF, and this is a VanEck spot Bitcoin ETF. So recently, the VanEck CEO for VanEck in the Asia Pacific region came out and says that, look, there's been a lot of Bitcoin demand recently in these regions, and they recognize Bitcoin as an emerging asset class that many advisors and investors want to access. So with this spot Bitcoin ETF, it's going to make Bitcoin more accessible by managing all back-end complexities, and it's going to make it much more accessible for institutions in the region. So hopefully this brings more money and more attention to Bitcoin. Next up is let's talk about Solana and a Solana meme coin that I've been keeping my eye out on lately. It's called Game of Memes, and it's a Solana meme coin project with the symbol GOME. It's an ever-developing, addictive zombie shooting survival game where you play as a popular meme character, whether that's like Pepe, Whiff, Popcat, Shork, and many others, and there's a lot more to come. So the way it works is extremely simple. You just pick a character, grab a gun, slay zombies, loot coins, upgrade, and survive if you can. And the cool thing about this project is that it's a lot more than just a meme coin. Many meme coins always talk about launching projects and launching actual utility, but this project is a game that you can actually already play. It's available on Android and on browser, and on top of this, they've already reached 10,000 followers on X, including the official Solana account and founder who recently posted about the game. So it's called Vampire Survivors of Solana. 35% of the total supply of this token is been burnt so far. The team is working on game improvements, new features, new website, marketing, the iOS release, which is going to be coming out soon, and a lot more. So this is a project that I definitely would be keeping your eye out on. You can see all the information about it on deck screen and already on their X account as well. Now let's talk about what's been going on with Charles Hoskinson and Cardano, because Charles Hoskinson came out in a recent interview and said, look, there's been a lot of FUD, a lot of people talking negatively about Cardano. People are upset because Cardano's price really has been pretty stable. If you look at it over the last year, Cardano's price lowest was right around 25 cents per coin. Highest was around 75 cents per coin. So really, it hasn't had as big of swings as other projects out there. But really, if you're looking at that, it's still a 3x return from its lowest point to its highest point at some point during the last year. But regardless, people think of Cardano as being very stable, not really seeing much price movement, and people say it's a dead project. So he addressed some of these rumors, and he said, look, while many people are saying that Cardano is dead, he said it is on the brink of one of its biggest governance upgrades ever, which is something that is very important because it's going to be a game changer for not just Cardano, but possibly the entire industry. He also talked about strong plans for scalability and active community involvement seen at events like Rare Evo and Cardano Foundation Summit. So for people who are saying it's a dead project, he'd say you wouldn't be seeing that much community involvement in all these in-person events and events they're holding if there wasn't actually a strong community building projects. Also, he said with the governance upgrade, that's something you need to be aware of as well. He said there's just too much impatience where people don't see the price moving up, and so they instantly infer, well, must be a dead ecosystem, must be in decline if there hasn't been any price movements. But yeah, Cardano's price has been relatively stable. It's up around still 60% in the last year, which isn't really stable. That's extremely good. But in terms of developments recently, if you look at the development reports, you can just consistently see more and more projects being launched on Cardano's blockchain, 171, more and more transactions, just approaching that 92 million, and more native tokens. So for people who say Cardano is dead, he's like, look, the numbers prove that it's not dead, that they're continuing to grow, and the community involvement in all these events really disprove that Cardano is dead as well. Last thing that people do talk about with Cardano is going to be with its TVL, and that's on DeFi Llama. So if we look on DeFi Llama, we could see that Cardano is a project that isn't a top project in terms of TVL, but in terms of where it's been over the last few years, you can see that Cardano's TVL is sitting right around $230 million. So this is by no means small or insignificant. We've continued to see a lot of development for its TVL. We've seen quite a bit of an increase over the last year or so. And in terms of ADA, we've also seen the TVL increase as well. So all these things are things that you like to see. Now let's switch gears and talk a little bit about what's been going on with ChainGPT. So I own around $70,000 of ChainGPT. Symbol is CGPT. And with ChainGPT, it's a project that has performed pretty well over the last 24 hours, up around 7%. But if you're looking at it over the last couple of months, it's had a correction along with the rest of the market. From its all-time high of around 50 cents per token, it's down a little bit from that, pretty substantially from that, and it's holding strong at that support of right around that 15 to 18 cents per token range. It's right around there. The thing I want to talk about with ChainGPT, though, is some major developments that have taken place recently, because I'm still extremely bullish on this project long term. And if you're bullish on AI, you really have to be bullish on ChainGPT. You'd be stupid not to be bullish on ChainGPT, because with ChainGPT, it is a core foundational project in the space. Recently, they had their launchpad launch a project and help launch with the IDO of Cookie 3. Cookie 3 is a project I have invested in, and I am also very bullish on that. But this launch was a major success for ChainGPT and for Cookie. Cookie had seen about a 10x return at its highest point, and currently it's sitting right around a 4x ROI from where the stats were, from where it had, the pricing on ChainGPT pad. So if you're looking at ChainGPT and their launchpad, well, they've had 30 IDO projects, a 15.8x average all-time high ROI, and you can see that they had, a lot of success with their launchpad. Not only with their launchpad, though, but they've also announced major partnerships recently. And if we scroll down, we can see they just recently announced a major partnership with IONET. You can see IONET, that was a major partnership that they announced with them, and this is something that is very important because IONET is a state-of-the-art decentralized computing network, and if you look at the recent posts, they say that, look, we're going to have more developments and more announcements coming out with this partnership in the future, but this is something very exciting because IONET is one of the biggest projects in the crypto space. AI compute as a currency powered by IO, Internet of GPUs, built on Solana. This is something to be very, very excited about, in my opinion. Last two things I do want to talk about is going to be with Core blockchain, because Core is a blockchain that has been seeing a lot of development recently. Core had surpassed 2,800 Bitcoin that was delegated and staked with Core Dao. You can see that this number has actually increased in the last week alone. It was at 2,826 Bitcoin staked. Now it's 2,937 Bitcoin staked. So this is something that shows you the long-term trust and proof with Core that people really believe in the blockchain long term. You can see that with this project, not only this, but also it is still over that $1 billion market cap despite everything going on in the market. And I just wanted to point this out to you because Core recently and ultimately is the first live BTC staking protocol. I think it could be a $10 billion market cap crypto. It's the first ever non-custodial BTC staking, and it's the first yield-bearing BTC ETP with Valor. So really, this is a project, and I posted this the other day, that I'm just extremely bullish on long term. I own quite a bit of this token, well over $100,000 of this token, and it's something that I'm very excited about long term.